start, I think. Firstly, can I welcome you all? Thank you very much for coming tonight. Those of you who have already read my chairman's report will know that I think this is a very important night for Nairnshire. And I think tonight, if we can come up with a really sensible and clever way forward, there's an awful lot that is potentially very good about what might happen in the next year or two. Although Duffy is telling me it'll be at least 20 years before we see the harbour, but I think that's a bit pessimistic, so never mind. So with no more ado, I'll hand over to Mike for apologies for absence.
I'm not sure if I need this. I've got a lot of apologies for absence. I won't read out the whole list of names, but I will just say that the directors, Rosemary Young, Graham Kerr and Matthew Hilton, who tender their apologies for not being able to be here tonight. Secretary's report, currently we have 1,066 members, of whom 1,043 are eligible voting members. The accounts, because our AGM is 15 months after the previous AGM, I hope it hasn't confused you, but the accounts we're presenting tonight are for the year ended 30 November 2014. I do have a full signed audited copy here. I've just given you on 2 sides of paper the essential numbers. And basically in terms of the profit and loss account, the income and expenditure, nothing really happened. We had donation income of £50 and we had some quite modest over expenses which gave us a small loss, but we had enough reserves and we still have enough reserves to cover costs like this powering the hall and printing and postage. Just moving forward, within the last few months, the money came through around about November. We received a grant of £10,000 from the DTAS, which is the Development Trust Association of Scotland, and we'll be talking later in the meeting how we are going to spend that money. And currently we have a bank balance of just under £10,500. So £10,000 is committed to a particular expenditure, and the £500 is basically our reserves. And that's, in a sense, that is the financial report. Does anybody have any questions on that? There's not really a lot to say. The significant event is the £10,000 which we've got and how we intend to spend it. Okay, I'll pass this back to our good chairman.
Thanks, Mike. I'm not proposing to read the chairman's report because A, I have difficulty reading, and B, I have difficulty following it. So if I can just pick out the highlights, and what I would really like out tonight is a really good discussion around whether you think we're moving in the right direction or not. I think it's really important that we look at what's happening in national and local policy. Tomorrow sees the rebirth of the Nairnshire Committee. We've got community planning, community empowerment, town centre regeneration. We've got new community councils, which certainly, judging on last night's performance, are performing really well. I think are a very important part of this equation. We have a very large social enterprise, and we've got some exciting stuff to come about the faith and how that all plays in. So, where I'm coming from most of the time is I think whoever it is that has to make a decision should try and make that decision on the best information, the best data, the best knowledge base that we can possibly do. And what we've seen with centralisation with Highland Council, with NHS Highland, with Scottish Government and Westminster Government in Europe, is people making decisions whether they don't have the best local information and the best data, and sometimes the decisions they make are not exactly the best decisions. So I think what we're trying to say is let's look at a way of making sure that decisions that have been made have as much input from the locality as possible. I quite like the idea that we work in partnership, and I quite like the idea that quite a lot of the ideas will be co-production, which is a real buzzword, but it means that actually you're bringing things up from the bottom and making them make sense. Can't not speak and not talk about fair share allocation of resources, and that's really important around things like the Inverness and Beach and City bid, that is obviously causing a lot of anxiety as to how that money is going to be used. So, what are we proposing tonight? Why do the directors now think this is a sensible way forward? And I'll say this at the start, and I'll say it again at the end. I mean, we're facing some stark choices, and we must not act in a fragmented way. We will only make progress if we establish ways of working together. And by developing this working partnership model, it allows all to play a respective role. And I think that means that they're looking towards a very good future for Nairnshire. So this is not rocket science. We're proposing that the councillors in their new Nairnshire committee, community councils, the social enterprise, and the bid all work in partnership. And that means an understanding of what we're all doing. It means understanding how we overlap, what people can do that's different, and what the roles of all the different organisations are. But above all, we would like to deliver something rather than just keep talking, because the frustration in Nairn around the length of time we've spent just talking about things and not delivering is massive, and it hasn't been good for any of us. A bit about the board of directors and the governance, which we'll come back to, but I think it's really important that we are moving into a position where we want to have additional directors. We want to explore this really quite complicated world of statutory bodies like health and local authority, the voluntary sector, and all that goes with that. The opportunities that the bid give around the business community. And this is a complex and difficult area. So what we're proposing is that we try and make it work. And in making it work, all these different organisations, which are all in different ways, all trying to do something to help Nairn, have to find a way of working together. Now you could say that that means that we're trying to do too much and achieve nothing, or it could be that we actually get into a model that actually allows us to prioritise and deliver against some sensible outcomes, is what we all want. So when we look at the governance paper, we'll have a good think about that. But I think it's really important that people are here tonight, and we look forward to hearing from them. We've been trying to work with people around the old social work building and proposals for that. And fortunately that didn't come off, but there's plenty of money sometimes for things. And we've got the £10,000. I'm looking at ways to use that. So I go back to where I was. I think we are facing very stark choices. The money will be tight, but having said that, there's plenty of money in the system if we just use it properly. We really want to develop this partnership working. We want this model to work, and I think we've all got to play a part in making it work. So I'm very happy to take questions from anybody around what they mean.